Good evening, chairs and members. Thank you for the opportunity to testify tonight, and hello to all the members of the public here. My name is Victoria Wenger, and I'm an attorney with the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund. While my practice is out of our national office, it is my greatest pleasure to work with a coalition of civil rights, racial justice, and civic engagement organizations in this great state to promote fair and equal access to the democratic process for all Louisianans. Through this work, we organize and educate voters on their rights, we advocate for pro-voting policy, and when necessary, we litigate. Yesterday, you heard from my colleague, Jared Evans, regarding the requirement that maps you create honor Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 by ensuring that Black voters are able to elect their candidate of choice where compact, majority Black districts can be drawn, and patterns of racially polarized voting have thus far ensured that Black voters' candidates of choice have been defeated by the white majority's preference. You also received a letter from LDF and 16 partner organizations explaining that you have an affirmative obligation to ensure that maps are in compliance with Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, which likely requires you to draw 2 majority Black districts for Louisiana's U.S. congressional map. We offered 7 different options to do this, showing the versatility you have to account for broad redistricting principles while prioritizing the federal mandates of one person, one vote, and Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. The same obligation to honor the U.S. Constitution and Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act applies for every map you advance at each level of Louisiana's government. As you redraw maps for the legislative bodies you serve, for Bessie, the Public Service Commission, the courts, you have the same unwavering obligation to ensure fair maps. This means that Black voters cannot be packed into limited districts nor cracked into disparate and diluted districts that deny them an equal opportunity to elect their candidates of their choice. Finally, I have one further logistical note. As you know, this process only happens once every 10 years. While the past year and a half have presented unprecedented challenges, a silver lining has been the advancement in technologies that allow people in disparate places to come together in virtual spaces. There are so many Louisianans who cannot be here tonight or at any point in the roadshow because of displacement due to Hurricane Ida, vulnerability due to COVID-19, or because they simply do not have the flexibility, mobility, or transportation to join the roadshow in person. As someone who has written your committees on multiple occasions, I know how different it feels to speak directly with you right now, to talk and to see your reactions. Louisianans deserve that kind of exchange for such a consequential process. There is significant precedent for virtual testimony, including meetings held by the State Board of Election Supervisors, the Public Defender Board, Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, federal courts, broad-reaching parish councils, and other state legislatures like Georgia and South Carolina. Some committees have provided a hybrid model, allowing for both in-person and virtual participation. These models can and should be adopted here because public participation is the core of the roadshow's purpose. I implore you to consider hosting at least one virtual roadshow session to allow Louisianans unable to attend in person the chance not just to write you or watch on the internet, but to speak to you about their stories, their communities, and their priorities for the districts that they call home. Thank you.